What's up, fam? Coach Cam. We are back again with another video. Today's video, I want to talk about bulking versus cutting, some of the pros, cons, some things that I've learned along the way. The workout here that I'm doing is a leg day combined with arm training as well. So legs and arms workout. And I currently have been cutting for 5 months now, and I'm down almost 20 pounds. There was some hiccups along the way the last couple months, but I'm still in it, and I'm still trying to lose maybe like 3 or 4 more pounds before I call it off. But I'm 5'7". I started at 171 pounds. I'm down to 152, 154, kind of between those two numbers depending on the day. My lowest low is 152.7. And one thing that has been a game changer that I've realized the last couple months is how important it is to fuel for your workouts. So you need to consume some carbohydrates a few hours before training. Now, this can be anything that's a carbohydrate. It can be milk, it can be Gatorade, it can be bread, it can be rice. It doesn't exactly matter at all what it is, but you want to have carbohydrates in your system. And the reason is because during most of the rest of the time that you're cutting, you're going to be a little lower on carbohydrates. You're going to be a little lower on energy. That's how you create an energy deficit, right? Is you have less energy in your body. So that is probably the case most of the time. Just like when you wake up in the morning. You wake up in the morning, you're flat, you're depleted, you're not carbed up, you have low glycogen stores. And if you don't replenish them, they're going to be nearly empty by the next day, right? So it's important to carb up before your workout so you have glycogen to use during the hard training sessions. Next is electrolytes. So consuming sodium, potassium, chloride, magnesium, and having this in your system before you train, right? So for myself, I have been taking electrolytes all the time in all my water bottles for the last few months, and it's helped me tremendously to have more stable energy during the day. I look forward to drinking my water. It tastes better, and I'm not just like flushing out those electrolytes by drinking tons of just plain water. So try to have some electrolytes in your body. I try to also take creatine. So every day I'm taking creatine in the morning, just 5 grams, nothing crazy. I think there's some research out there to show there may be some different benefits to consuming more than 5 grams, but I've just been consuming 5 grams, 1 scoop, and it has been very helpful to keep my muscles full, more energized, and I feel ready to go when it's time to train. So I highly recommend that as well. So all 3 of these will help your calorie deficit go smoother. It will help you to still train hard when it's time to train. And then when you're not training, I recommend lowering your food intake, lowering your carbohydrate intake, and letting your body burn fat is what your goal is when you're in a calorie deficit. That's super important. And so for myself, I try to eat less for dinner so that I can weigh myself the next morning and get a new low weigh-in. If I ate a huge dinner, there's no way I'm going to weigh in with a new low if there's a ton of food in my stomach. So these are just some things that I've been learning along the way, and what it's actually caused me to think is, hey, maybe I know a lot of people think that for when you're trying to bulk, you're trying to eat extra food all the time, all day long. Well, maybe you only need to eat extra before your workouts. Maybe you don't need to be eating a ton of extra food just on any old meal when there's no training in sight, right? So ideally you would eat extra food before you train, and then maybe after, I've found I don't need to eat too much. I know the whole post-workout window, blah, 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 it's not a real thing, really. It's just total daily calories and total daily protein intake. But I found that after a workout, if it's into the evening, I can just drink some fluids and go to bed. Nothing too crazy. I don't need to worry about downing a whole bunch of protein or a whole bunch of carbohydrates before bed. I used to. So what I used to do, and this is for all you hard gainers out there, I'm about to give you a serious tip. So what I would do is every morning and every night, I had 2 scoops of protein powder in milk along with all my normal food throughout the day. So I literally added in probably, 800 calories each day just by doing that. So I would eat the protein shake in the morning and breakfast, eat my normal lunch, dinner, and then after dinner before bed, I would eat the protein shake. That helped me gain weight. So that helped me go from, 155 pounds up to about 190 in the course of like 8 months. So that's 8 or 9 months. That's a tip if you want to do that. But for myself, when I start bulking here in the next month, I'm not going to be eating just tons of food all the time. I'm going to eat and fuel a little bit better pre-workout. But after that, I need to keep it under control and not go overboard, because it's so easy, especially right now, being the holidays, to just pig out and eat a bunch of desserts and not think about the consequences. And really, when you do that, you're slightly getting yourself addicted to sugar, right? And I don't want to be addicted to sugar. I think it's a good idea to consume a whole carbohydrate like, rice, because you're not addicted to rice. Like, I don't know anyone that's like, oh my goodness, I gotta have my rice all the time. So try to stick to whole foods and feel your hunger cues. If you're not hungry at all for a dinner in the middle of the week, then don't eat so much for dinner. Hold back and wait until it's a pre-workout meal. I really think that's key, and I'm going to try this out in the next few months, and I'll report back and let you guys know if I feel like that is what is the most beneficial to bulking. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to bulking and cutting, you're not bulking all the time. There's still points when you're in a deficit, at least energy-wise. Maybe you wake up in the morning, right? You've been sleeping for 8 hours, hopefully, and you're in a deficit at that point. You can choose to eat, but you're currently in a deficit. Then maybe you go ahead and you eat breakfast. Well, now, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours later, you're in a deficit again, so it's time to eat again. And I think if you stay on top of that and you eat ahead of the curve, while that's helpful, you're probably going to gain more fat than if you just eat when it's time, eat when you're ready to eat, and eat a proper amount of food and not just pigging out or getting addicted to junk food. Same thing with cutting, right? You're in a calorie deficit, but not every second of every day. If I eat breakfast, if I eat lunch, if I eat dinner, I'm not in a deficit for the next hour or two. I'm at least at maintenance, if nothing else. It's only when you go a little bit longer stretches without food, or you eat less food, that you can actually be in a deficit. So that's why my go-to strategy is to eat less for dinner. I'm in a deficit all night long, and your water is depleted, your carbohydrates are depleted. So it's the perfect time to get a new low when you wake up in the morning. When it comes to training while you're bulking or cutting, really your training should not change at all, because it's the same exercises that build muscle that are going to maintain it, that are going to help you continue to build muscle, whether you're in a calorie deficit or a surplus. And I've said this before, that I believe I have built muscle on this calorie deficit because I did a few things differently. I consumed creatine, electrolytes, and I made sure to carb up before my workouts instead of just walking into the gym feeling exhausted and carb depleted. So that, along with changing my training split and volume, has helped me as well. So I've actually upped my volume a little bit, doing 2 exercises per muscle group. Still 1 set per exercise, but 2 exercises. So I guess you could say that I'm doing 2 sets per muscle group in a given workout for the most part. Not all the time, but most of the time I will be doing this. My priorities right now are arms and legs. I think my back's pretty good, chest is okay, and I just want to get more freaky arms. I feel like my arms are actually average, or maybe just kind of smaller compared to the rest of my physique. And then legs could always use some more work. So I really want to focus on those areas. And when I start eating in a calorie surplus, I think it's going to really help those areas blow up. It's really important that during your workouts, you have a really good pump in the muscles. Like, you should not be working out and then just leaving the gym feeling like you didn't do anything. You should feel cooked. Your muscles should have a serious pump, if not after, but during the workout. It's super important, I think. I know everyone says, oh, it's just a pump. And while it is just a pump, it doesn't mean you grew muscle. It's a good sign that your body was, stimulated. And I'm not talking just junk volume. I'm talking 1 or 2 really hard sets on each muscle. And that should be plenty of stimulus. There's no reason to do 20 sets a week. That's ridiculous. Cut that down and actually train hard. And you'll find that, hey, I don't need more than 5 sets per muscle per week. And you want to be pushing for progress, which I think calorie surplus is definitely going to help me make more progress than I've been making right now. Hopefully it can help me with recovery. But anyways, that is the end of the workout. This is my post-workout flex at about 154 pounds, 153, 4, somewhere in there. This was legs and arms. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. This is my garage gym. These are kind of the best exercises I can do. And looking for more progress, right? If you want coaching, you can send me a message and I'd be happy to help you create a plan, whatever it is. Thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe.